Right now, there's a huge fight going on to prevent the overturning of the right to abortion, and indeed, by the time you see this, it may be gone.
Get in the street!
For months, Rise Up for Abortion Rights has been at the forefront of this battle.
Rise up for abortion rights! Rise up for abortion rights!
While all too many other groups, from the big reproductive rights organizations that are tied to the Democratic Party to the freelance wokesters looking to run a small concession stand within that, they've been attacking Rise Up, focused on getting ready for a post-Roe America, adjusting and capitulating to the horror. And a lot of their arguments have been answered on this show and at revcom.us. But one big slander they use is that the Revcoms, who work within and who help to initiate Rise Up for Abortion Rights, are part of a cult around Bob Avakian. So let's speak to that. First, this is ignorant. BA, Bob Avakian, uses the scientific method of basing himself on reality to make a highly rational case about why this system must be overthrown, why a new revolutionary system must be put in its place, and why in particular the emancipation of women is a driving force within that struggle. He's written numerous articles on this particular fight around the Roe v. Wade ruling and the right to abortion itself. Now, it's obvious that these politicos, these hucksters, they don't agree with this, but they won't put out their arguments in an open debate. And just using the scare word cult, this is not a rational, science-based argument. This is a resort to demagogy, and it's a confession that they don't have any serious refutations for a position that they've decided will threaten the space that they've carved out for themselves. Now, for those of you who don't have a vested interest in keeping people from joining this fight, you need to ask yourselves, what do you really think? Dig into it, compare and contrast. Who's right on this question? Bob Avakian and the Revcoms who follow him? Or these wannabe movement big shots and identity politics entrepreneurs? And is it really acceptable to step outside of or to attack the only broad-based group that is waging this struggle and the only one with a strategic orientation of defeating this attack, just because some people are using scary name-calling against some of the people in this group, including against Sansara Taylor, who's the co-host of this show and who's played a leading role in joining with others from different perspectives to initiate and to lead Rise Up. Just who is that thinking about? Is it thinking about the masses of women, the future generation of girls, and what they're going to be facing? Or is it thinking about what's easiest for you? Don't give in to what they say when what they say is so wrong and so truly harmful. You need to be, and you can be, better than that, especially in this crucial hour. Now, of course, Bob Avakian is about more than any particular battle, as important as this one may be. He's developed a whole new communism, building on and in some significant ways going beyond and even rupturing with what was done before. And this too is based on a scientific approach, probing deeply into the previous socialist revolutions and revolutionary movements, not being swayed by what everybody knows, or more accurately, what they think they know. If you're among the many who've taken up this struggle for abortion rights, but you're still learning about all of this, if you want to know the deep down cause of the problem, where does this patriarchal oppression and degradation of women come from? And whether and how we can get rid of it. Yes, how we can uproot it, get rid of it, and build a society in which never again does a woman know what it's like to walk down a dark street in fear. This is possible. And don't you owe it to yourself and to the people all over the world who are trying to break these chains on the half of humanity that's female to look into the work of the person on the planet who's gone the deepest into understanding this? Now, as for those people who think that they can intimidate you from doing that, from getting into this, by using that scare word cult, Ardea Skybreak, a biologist and an advocate of the new communism, she posed this to such people in general. What's your program? What's your strategy? What's your solution to the problem of the recurrent horrors generated by this system? And well, if you don't have much to say about any of that, if you don't have much serious substance to offer in terms of strategic plans, in terms of programs for systemic change, then maybe you should have the decency to shut up for a while and get to doing some serious work yourself to at least more thoroughly explore and engage the substance of the work done over a number of decades by someone who is in fact proposing a substantial, multi-layered, radically different, and yet coherent, scientifically grounded in reality, vision, and plan for the future. You don't have to agree, but it is unconscionable, in my opinion, not to seriously delve into this work. Unless, of course, you just don't care. Now, applying that same spirit to this battle, we ask you to ask these wokesters, ask these political appendages of the Democratic Party this. What is their analysis of where this oppression comes from? Why did they think it still's not been uprooted? What accounts for the fact that today, all over the world, women are being slammed back, and this oppression is getting worse by leaps and by bounds, including through ripping away the hard-won right to abortion? How did they intend to wage the huge but possible struggle necessary to abolish this oppression? There's more to say about cults versus science, and we will in future episodes. And BA has also answered these charges himself in 2 articles at revcom.us. Bob Avakian answers accusations of cult, ignorance, and cowardice. And Bob Avakian speaks to cult, a ridiculous, ignorant, and irresponsible accusation. We are applying a scientific method and approach to understanding and transforming the world to emancipate humanity. Now, this is also an insulting personal attack. I'm not some blind, unthinking cult member, and neither are any of the other Revcoms. Based on Avakian's new communism, we struggle to understand and to transform the world in an emancipating way. Not with closed-minded, dogmatic adherence to religious articles and faith that have no basis in reality, but with a scientific spirit, determination, passion for a better world, and strong-ass opinions. We're curious, inquisitive, and we're hardcore revolutionaries who refuse to bow down to people who want to leave the masses of humanity enchained to the soul-crushing and people-devouring system. So get into this. Don't let any of these phonies and worse scare and peer pressure you away from digging seriously into what humanity needs. Raise your questions, your differences, substance, and let's together work to change the world.